going to be shot down after that. What was it?
You know, I never was
or?
afraid of being shot down, except during the briefing of several missions, and they would talk about, okay, here's your enemy, and the guns and the defenses and all that, and I said, oh, holy shit, this is bad news, you know. But we just did it.
Spirit walker, you can't be killed.
I wasn't that much scared, but I was apprehensive. I'll say that.
Right. So what made you?
I was scared shitless. That's the way we described it.
Sure.
Common sense.
But what made you volunteer for your third tour of duty, flying
no.
FAC?
What made you? What was it inside of you that said, "I'm not going to make it"?
I never did feel I wasn't going to make it, but I felt maybe I was going to get shot down. But I always felt that I was going to make it.
Yeah, but even with all that fear, you still volunteered for your third.
Was that Brent out there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's he doing?
I know, but you still volunteered for your third tour of duty, Dad, and you flew FAC. I mean, that was even a more harrowing mission.
That was interesting, yeah.
Because, you know, you had to volunteer with the Australian Air Force, not the U.S. Air Force, and you've got a rifle strapped to your back, flying little, what were you flying?
Yeah.
Forward air control, and it was...
He was flying like single-engine Cessna.
Yeah, little planes.
But he tells me that wasn't nearly as dangerous.
Really?
As where he flew with 105. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I got hit several times flying with small arms, rifle fire, and things like that.
Right.
But in the wings, never very serious.
So what was the story about you landing and the Viet Cong was going to overrun the airstrip and you had to change a battery in your plane and then you took off again? What happened? Because you did that. I've read your diary.
John Seeley came to visit me. I was at Ben Wong, and he was up country someplace. And so he came in, and I went downtown to pick him in Saigon and brought him back out, and he stayed with me that night. And the next day, he flew a mission with me, and I got permission to fly him in the backseat of the 01. And the plan was we were going to do a mission, combat mission, and I'm going to land.
Seeley?
What?
Yeah, Uncle
You and
John.
John Seeley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we put Uncle
And
John
then
in
when
the
we
01.
finished the mission, I was going to land at one of the bases up on the coast, and I don't remember which base it was, but it was one of the Thai fighter wing bases on the coast, and they had O-1s there and lots of things. So we went driving up there, and I called them on the tower, and nobody talked to me. I couldn't get anybody on the radio. And sometimes the Vietnamese were like that, so I said, well, the hell with them. I could see which way the wind was blowing, so I just came in, and there wasn't any other airplane flying. I just came in and landed. And I tried to talk to ground and used emergency radio and everything. Nobody talked to me. And so I just taxied into base ops. And we hopped out. I shut down. John hopped out, and here came his helicopter in and picked him up, and off he went. So I'm out there. There was nobody came out to help me. I could see some guys across the runway over there running around. So I went down. I was at the tower, so I went down to the base of the tower, and I knocked on the door. Just banged on. There's the great big door. I banged on the door and banged on. And finally, somebody came and opened the door a crack and said, "Major, what the hell are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I brought a friend of mine in. I just landed the 01 a while ago, and I'm getting ready to take off, and nobody's talking to me." And he said, "We're down. We've been overrun by Vietnamese in the last 4 hours. They're all over the base. We're locked in here because this is kind of a shelter." And he said, "You can either get in the shelter with us, or you can go out and get in your airplane and get the hell out of here right now." I said, "That's what I'll do." So I went running back out to my 01, climbed in the 01, and I could see these guys running around out there, but they were several hundred yards away. But they were carrying rifles and they had helmets on it. They were bad guys. And every once in a while they'd point at me, but they weren't after me at that point. They were after somebody else. So anyway, I climbed in, turned the start switch on, and the battery was dead.
Oh my gosh.
In my airplane. So I had a little toolbox in there, and I had a pair of pliers or something, and so I opened up the battery compartment and took the battery terminals off, and I carried the battery over to a Vietnamese 01 that was sitting close to me, and I took his battery out and put my battery back in his airplane and carried his battery over to my airplane and wired it up, and it started fine. And I took off.
You're doing this the whole time damn bases being
They're all
overrun.
walking
I didn't have any. I don't have any
They're all
choice.
walking around ready to kill him.
With yeah, with
didn't
guns.
have any
The
choice.
Vietnamese were. Oh my
They're all
gosh.
walking around ready to kill him, and he's trying to switch out batteries in airplanes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, they were gonna
Okay,
kill
in
could've
the
died like
01, tell him about the story of flying out with the
60s?
Australians
Oh, I've heard that story.
Their dad was born.
to the
think
where
I would've been
the
born with
Viet
that.
Cong were hidden, and they wanted to show
Few
you
people
where
ready
to
to
lead
kill
the
him at all
bombers
times.
in.
Oh. Oh, we got two. These are too many words.
Good story.
Good story.
Take these off and listen.
I was the air liaison
more
officer for
history
the
than
brigadier,
you'll learn in
Australian
law school.
brigadier,
This is all
commander of the
confidential.
Australian task force.
Nobody outside of us knows that.
And he called me into the office one day and he said, "We're going to run." He said, "We've got a Viet Cong storage supply area up in the Nui Dat Mountains." And he said, "We know exactly where it is." And he said, "They've been storing munitions in there and things in there for a long time." And he said, "We've tried to bomb it, but we can't get, because on dive bombings, we can't get anything in there." So he said, "We're going to bring some
Time out for wine refill.
Hold on.
Wine refill. Thank you.
My
Oh, that's
shoulder
fine.
hurts.
Thank you, Dale. That's
sorry.
good. Thank you. Oh my gosh. It's like a tall glass of wine.
We're gonna be here for a while.
I'll have to crawl.
I just want a little.
I gotta drive.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Sorry,
whoa,
sorry,
whoa,
sorry,
whoa,
sorry.
whoa, whoa.
I don't want that much.
I know.
That's enough.
There you go.
Okay, that's good. That's
Turn
good.
it off,
That's
Dale.
good. That's
Turn
good.
it
That's
Got
good.
it, got it.
Oh my gosh. Dale's got the longest fort in the world. Okay, so go ahead, Dad. So
Anyway, the Australian commander, the brigadier, said, he said, "I want you to put a strike in because you're my most experienced FAC." And he said, "We're going to use B-57s, Australian B-57s, and they're going to come in level at 1,000 feet and drop these bombs, 750-pound bombs, from 1,000 feet level." And I think he said at the angle they'll go in, maybe if we're lucky, we'll get one up into that cave.
like a bunker buster.
Yeah, we'll get it in there. If and we're going to put delayed fuse on them, so they're going to go in their ways before they detonate. And I said, "Okay." Yeah. And he said, "I don't want you to fly your airplane." Well, he said, "Yeah, I want you to fly your airplane tomorrow when you put in the B-57s." But he said, "I've got a helicopter standing by, one of my little H-13s, the open bubble."
Yeah, yeah.
And he said, "I've got a pilot. He's going to take you down there and show you where that cave is." I said, "Yeah, he is." He said, "Yeah, he wants." He said, "We want you to know exactly where it is and what it looks like."
And this thing is full of bad guy guns and bombs.
Munitions,
and
That
everything.
Right.
that mountain was covered with. They had a Vietnamese battalion on that mountain.
Oh my gosh.
And so it's about 60 miles from the Australian Air Force's headquarters up there. So we get up and we go down, and we're going across the ground at as fast as he could fly, which is probably about 75, 80 miles an hour, at about 50 feet. And we go about, it was 12 or 15 miles down to that mountain at
50 feet,
50 feet.
which is not more than rooftop.
Yeah, about the same.
Oh my gosh.
And what's that?
That's the tree.
Trees are
Oh.
moving.
Go ahead.
Okay. And he said, "Okay." He said, I'm gonna do an S climb up." He said, "This cave
In
is
the
up toward
helicopter.
the top of the mountain." And he said, "I'm going to do kind of an S climb and keep our speed up." But he said, "I'm going to have to stay low because I was up here yesterday and they really shot at me. Really shot." He said, "Lots of bad guys down there shooting at helicopters." And he said, "Now you've got your AR-15 and you're on the right side. You put your gun out the right door, which was open." And he said, "I'm going to do mine with out
Yours
the left
was
door."
fully automatic.
Yeah.
It wasn't an AR. It was fully automatic.
Well, it was the AR.
And,
Yeah, it was-
M16.
Right.
And so he said, "Now, if you see anybody move, empty your gun at him. If you see anybody
I'll
move."
shoot.
And we had about
Empty your gun.
we had about 12 or 15 30-round magazines.
And you're in a helicopter?
The bubble helicopter.
And
Open door.
so we went up, and we go at the 30 or 40 feet across the mountain
Yeah,
going
they're throwing
up
up.
where the bad guys were, and they never did show. I don't know why they didn't show. So we got up there, and he said, "Okay." And he came to about 200 feet, and he said, "The entrance to that cave is right down there in those bushes. Can you see that?" And I said, you got to tell him. You see, yeah, that'll be all right. And I said, no, I've got to put this mission in, so I really need to know where it is. And he said they piled some brush across it. But he said it's easy to find once you see it and once you know where it is. So he circled around it, kept pointing at it. I kept saying, I really can't see it. And he said, okay. He said, I'm going to go down and I'm going to show it to you. And so he let down and he landed out in front of that cave.
Oh my gosh.
He landed that helicopter out in front of the cave. And he said, you see those bushes right there? He said, that's the entrance to the cave. And he said the trees are a little darker there because they were cut several days ago. I mean, they're a little lighter, you know, they dried up a little bit. And he said, that's your aiming point. That's where you've got to put the bombs in. And I said, I see it, let's go. Let's get the hell out of here. And we did. We climbed up and we went back. And so the next day I went down and put those B-57s in. And we dropped, I think, 6 bombs off of 4 B-57s. And they hit all around the cave entrance, but they never got one up into the cave.
B-57s?
Yeah.
B-57s? I don't even know what that...
That's a Canberra, twin-inch engine, straight wing,
Australian.
wide wing.
Australian.
B-57?
Yeah, it was an Australian.
But it's an Australian plane.
Remember, it's Australian, not because Dad was with Australian.
But this was an
Air Force.
American plane we sold to them.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
B-47?
No, B-57.
Did we call it a B-57?
Yes,
Okay.
and they did too. But it was a wonderful airplane. Could drop active bombs. But it was the
Brent,
forerunner of our high altitude airplanes.
Google B-57.